On this Saturday night, Charlie Kirk's widow breaks her silence. Erica Kirk speaks out for the first time since the killing of the right-wing activist.
The movement my husband built will not die.
As U.S. investigators try to determine his alleged killer's motive. Toronto mourns and marches.
Enough is enough!
Hundreds gather to remember an 8-year-old shot while sleeping in bed as the suspects remain at large. Plus, the Halifax school helping displaced Ukrainian children hold on to their heritage. And walking to victory, a BC race walker takes his first world title after a 25-year journey.
Global National, reporting tonight, Nitu Garcha.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The widow of prominent conservative activist Charlie Kirk is vowing to carry on his legacy after authorities confirmed his alleged assassin has been captured. In a tearful address, Erica Kirk called her husband the perfect father and declared the movement he built will not die.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea.
Memorials for the slain U.S. conservative influencer are being held across both Utah and the broader United States. Reggie Cecchini reports on how supporters are remembering him and the growing concerns over what could come next.
His legacy will live on.
The grief that rests deep in the hearts of Charlie Kirk's supporters is palpable. These are the conservative followers of a giant in the MAGA movement, grateful for what they saw as a trailblazer, unafraid to break boundaries that seemed to be long set in stone.
He truly did speak truth to power, and that he spoke up for a lot of people who felt that they did not have a voice.
The search for answers is being met head-on with a demand for justice. Investigators are looking into the suspect's political ideologies for imprints of a motive. Some close to Tyler Robinson have said he didn't like, quote, hateful people. He's now accused of firing the single shot at Kirk, turning himself in after a manhunt stretching more than 30 hours, with growing calls from elected officials and Kirk's followers that the death penalty be applied.
Hang him in a tall tree where people can see it, because it'll stop a lot of it. It'll stop a lot of the violence.
I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart.
Breaking her silence, Charlie Kirk's widow described how this has left a void in her and their 2 children's lives, while promising to keep her husband's political firebrand burning in a message she targeted directly at, quote, evildoers.
You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Kirk's murder in a public space has shone a spotlight on the fragile state of American politics. And while he championed a belief that when words stop, violence starts, speech is what has left America's fundamental freedoms at risk.
If we can't solve the problem of security and protecting people who are exercising their First Amendment rights, then the rights become immaterial.
A brazen attack silenced one voice that's raising concerns for the many more that will grow louder. Reggie Cecchini, Global News, Washington.
Later on Global National, Eric Sorensen looks at Kirk's legacy and the struggle in the U.S. to not let his death create a wider political divide. In central London, the streets were filled with protesters today in the face of dueling anti-immigration and anti-racism protests.
This is our country! You should be here standing with us!
Riot police clashed with some of the tens of thousands who showed up for the anti-immigration rally organized by British far-right activist Tommy Robinson. At the same time, several thousand people also attended the Stand Up to Racism counter-protest nearby. Police had cordoned off an area between the demonstrations to keep them apart. There was a powerful push to curb gun violence in Canada's largest city today. People took to the streets in Toronto marching for change just days after police arrested a suspect in the death of an 8-year-old boy who was killed by a stray bullet while laying in bed with his mother last month. Lexi Benedict reports.
Put the guns down! Put the guns down! Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
Hundreds making their voices heard loud and clear, demanding something be done to address gun violence.
Spread the message of awareness that, things have gotten way out of control in the city.
A coalition of organizations gathering and calling for action.
We're calling on connection, belonging, really bringing people together, and really all of us seeing this as a huge problem within our communities, and that if we don't mobilize now, it's just going to continue to get worse.
Hopefully this is a problem that the city recognizes is an all of us issue and not just folks from marginalized communities.
This rally comes 1 month after 8-year-old Javay Roy was struck and killed by a stray bullet while sleeping in his bed in his North York apartment. His mother speaking through the grief.
I'm still very numb. I miss my son. And this is why we're here today. Where they're taking our loved ones, and we need to come together because this shouldn't happen to anybody.
Toronto police announcing just days ago the arrest of a 16-year-old suspect who's been charged with first-degree murder and 5 firearm offenses. But 2 other suspects, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, remain at large, both wanted for first-degree murder.
Enough is enough!
A march from Nathan Phillips Square to gathering here at Queen's Park, continuing calls for more action on gun violence and to honor those who have lost their lives.
Bullets don't have names on it, and it can happen to anyone. So it's important to be a voice for people who have lost theirs and unite as a community and stay together.
And hope those who have the power to make changes are listening.
So let's come together, listen to the voices of the people who have been through it, lived experience, and let's start making tangible changes.
Lexi Benedict, Global News, Toronto.
Shame! It is reported that over 11...
Protesters gathered outside Scotiabank Centre in Halifax for a second day, demanding the full cancellation of Canada and Israel's Davis Cup matches this weekend. No spectators are permitted inside the arena for those matches due to potential security risks. Demonstrators say the Israeli team should not be competing in Nova Scotia, given the Israeli government's ongoing onslaught inside Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is heading to Israel as President Trump grows increasingly frustrated with Benjamin Netanyahu's unrelenting campaign in Gaza. Overnight, Israeli strikes pounded Gaza City, hitting an UNRWA-run school housing displaced Palestinians. Marco Rubio is expected to land in Israel Sunday as Israel's military prepares for a major offensive in the enclave's largest city. Rubio is expected to meet with Israeli officials to discuss their goals and objectives for the operation. The U.S. president has once again claimed he's ready to impose more sanctions on Russia, but only if NATO countries stop buying Russian oil. On Truth Social, Trump says he was shocked that some NATO members like Turkey, Hungary, and Slovakia still buy from Russia. He says it greatly weakens the alliance's negotiating position to end the war in Ukraine, adding he wants allies to slap up to 100% tariffs on China for its purchases of Russian oil.
It's the most insanely sad yet beautiful thing.
An emotional Prince Harry after visiting a makeshift war memorial in Kyiv during a surprise trip to Ukraine's capital on Friday. Harry was there with a team from his Invictus Games Foundation, where he pledged to expand support for injured veterans through his charity. This is his second visit to Ukraine this year. Today marked the grand opening of Halifax's Ukrainian school, a space designed to preserve language, traditions, and community for future generations. And with Russia's war showing no sign of letting up, the school is not just being seen as a place of learning, but a place where displaced Ukrainians can unite. Kendra Gannon reports.
Although the Ukrainian school originally opened in April, Saturday's grand opening is bigger and better, with more students, classes, and a goal of keeping traditions and identity alive while building connections in the community. President of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress Nova Scotia branch says it's important the kids have a chance to practice and learn more about their Ukrainian lineage.
They were born in Ukraine, or their families are their parents are Ukrainians, right? They need to keep and remember who they are, so they need to learn the language, they need need to learn their culture and history, and to not forget how strong and independent they are, you know.
School principal Lena Kostuk says 95% of the students attending the school are from families that are under the Canadian-Ukrainian authorization for emergency travel visa because of the ongoing conflict with Russia.
Due to war, a lot of Ukrainians were displaced and need to run from their home country, so they landed here and started the new life. But kids still remember Ukrainian school, Ukrainian language, and they want to continue and maintain.
After receiving a grant of around $8,000 from the Canada-Ukrainian Foundation about a year ago, the Congress was able to create a school for the many displaced Ukrainians. This semester, which will run until around the end of March, will host students from 90 different Ukrainian families in the province every Saturday for 4 hours. Students will receive books directly from Ukraine and have a chance to take other classes like arts and crafts and theatrical arts because of local sponsors from the community. Parent Olesia Zazulia says she's thankful her daughters can attend the school in hopes that in the future they can speak to their family and friends when visiting their home after the conflict has ended.
I think that it's just so important that, you know, like we have a piece of Ukraine here. And I would like my daughters, if not speak perfect Ukrainian, but at least be in that environment, interact with Ukrainian children, and learn something about our beautiful nation.
Kendra Gannon, Global News, Halifax.
As MPs return to Ottawa, the majority of Canadians say they approve of Prime Minister Mark Carney's government. If an election were held tomorrow, Ipsos projects the Liberals would get 43% of the decided vote, while Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives would receive 39%. Now support for those parties and others mirror the election vote in the spring. While voter preferences may have changed a little since April, as David Akin reports, the political landscape has shifted in some other significant ways.
And what kind of summer has it been for Mark Carney? It has been the Seinfeld summer. A big show about nothing.
No surprise the leader of the official opposition has been unimpressed with what the Carney government has done in the last few months, but a significant majority of Canadians have a different view.
Seinfeld was a show about nothing, but it was also very popular.
Indeed, pollster Daryl Bricker says the Carney government's approval rating grew by 10 points over the summer and now stands at 58%. That's an approval rating level that no government has achieved in 9 years.
I think that you're seeing in the numbers right now is not that people have any deep knowledge of what Mark Carney is going to bring to Canada, but they certainly hope that he's going to have success, and they're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
But in that Ipsos poll, voters gave clear indications where they have concerns about the Carney government. Better than 1 in 3, or 36%, gave the government a failing grade when it came to lowering the cost of living. Just under 1 in 3, or 31%, gave Carney's team an F on dealing with the housing affordability crisis.
Do they feel that he's making them any more secure in their jobs and secure about what their personal circumstances are going to be going forward? The answer to that question so far is no.
The opportunity is in the partnership.
Voters give the Carney government top marks on dealing with the U.S. President Donald Trump and international trade. But while Trump and tariffs powered the Liberals to their spring win, the government's own internal polls show that Trump and tariffs are no longer the urgent issue they were 5 months ago.
Voters' priorities have shifted to the economy, cost of living, affordability, and those will be among the top priorities for all opposition parties this fall, as they sense, like many voters do, that the Carney government has yet to deliver on those 3 issues. Neetu.
Okay, David Akin in Ottawa. Thanks, David. A new study links Canada's 2023 wildfire smoke to premature deaths worldwide. Coming up, what the research found and a Canadian mother's message after her son's death during the heavy smoke. A Canadian mother who lost her 9-year-old son during a severe wildfire smoke day is speaking out as new international research reveals the true global scale of the health impacts. The peer-reviewed study links smoke from Canada's record-breaking wildfire season in 2023 to tens of thousands of premature deaths around the world. I spoke with Amber Vi on how her son became one of them.
What I wouldn't give to have one of his long-winded stories or
to dance with him in the living room or hear one of his crazy jokes.
It's been more than 2 years since Amber Vi lost her son Carter, a bright 9-year-old, during one of the worst wildfire smoke days in BC's history, a day when the risk wasn't always visible.
When we went out that day, you couldn't smell smoke, you couldn't see smoke. We did all the things that the doctors told us to do, and that still wasn't enough.
His cause of death was asthma exacerbated by smoke. Now a new international study is shining a spotlight on the scale of that danger.
To me, this is sort of a wake-up call.
The study, published in a leading peer-reviewed science journal, Nature, found smoke from Canada's 2023 wildfires contributed to more than 82,000 premature deaths globally after long-term exposure, including about 33,000 in the U.S., 22,000 in Europe, and more than 8,000 in Canada, as well as an estimated 5,400 acute deaths in the U.S. and Canada from short-term high smoke exposure.
In Canada, the rates of that are equivalent to the number of people that die from prostate cancer.
Michael Brower is the study's only Canadian researcher. He says once adjusted for population, Canada had the highest death rates by far, double those in the U.S. and 7 times higher than Europe.
That's just because we had a lot more smoke.
Researchers say the study's figures are modeled estimates, but the trend is clear. Wildfires are a global public health issue.
Air quality respects no boundaries. Fires that come from as far afield as Canada, the pollution have made it across the Atlantic.
International researchers say wildfire smoke is also accelerating aging and worsening heart, lung, and cognitive diseases. They warn 2023 wasn't a one-off. 2025 so far is almost as severe.
We have to take it seriously.
Vi says sites like purpleair.com offering live data on air pollution give her a small sense of control, but also a reminder of what her family lost. Free speech debate ahead, the fallout after conservative activist Charlie Kirk's assassination, the responses, reactions, and apologies. Fallout continues on both sides of the border after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. In Manitoba, Families Minister Nathani Fontaine is apologizing for reposting a message calling Kirk racist and transphobic. And in Ontario, a University of Toronto professor has been placed on leave after posting that shooting is too good for fascists, a comment condemned by the province's college's minister. As Eric Sorensen reports, those incidents and many more like them south of the border are sparking new questions about free speech, accountability, and the political divisions surrounding Kirk's legacy.
On campuses across the United States, young people are mourning the death of the outspoken political activist. Many hope this will be a turning point to confront America's unending violence.
I feel like there's way too much hate in this world right now, especially in our country, and we need to all come together and band as one.
Hey Charlie, how's it going? Hey, we got the Harris Wall sticker. Welcome up.
Charlie Kirk would engage anyone. His conservatism was embraced by many, but his hardline views were also controversial. He backed President Trump on issues like gun rights, even willing to accept more gun deaths to preserve the constitutional right to keep and bear arms.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Kirk's death has exposed, perhaps even widened, America's political divisions. Some have posted online that they were just fine with what happened to him. A teacher at this U.S. high school and many others have been put on leave for online comments deemed inappropriate.
I think a lot of times people are just doing things because they're impulsive and they're not thinking about the big picture.
Some on the political right are furious that others are celebrating and blame liberals for Kirk's death.
The violence is definitely coming from one side, and that's from the extremism on the left. There's no doubt in my mind.
U.S. presidents historically try to heal divisions in a tragedy. Donald Trump is too angry for that.
Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives.
Those words, one political historian suggests, will not unite Americans.
It's worth acknowledging when one side is the victim but not the other. I think it becomes it becomes even more toxic.
In Utah, where the shooting happened, the governor is urging the next generation to chart a new, less violent path.
All of us have an opportunity right now to do something different.
Some are listening.
This is a turning point in our nation.
We also need to enact change within ourselves and be a cause for good.
In life and in death, Charlie Kirk symbolizes the political divide in the country. The challenge for Americans is not only to come together, but to not pull further apart. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
Gold for Canada. Coming up, Evan Dunphy's words after claiming his first world championship in the 35-kilometer race walk. A stunning performance from Canada today at the Women's Rugby World Cup quarterfinal in England. The team quashed their Australian opponents 46-5 after dominating the first half of the game. They're now set to face off with New Zealand in next week's semi-final. The World Athletics Championship got off to the best start possible for Team Canada and Richmond, BC's Evan Dunphy. Dunphy captured the gold medal in the 35-kilometer race walk in the very first event of the competition in Tokyo. At 34 years old, it's Dunphy's first world title. He set a world record in the event earlier this year.
It's a quarter century, 25 years. 25 years ago, Jerry and I, my coach, we said one day we're going to break world records and win gold medals. We've done both this year.
With defending champions in hammer throw, decathlon and sprinting, it could be the first of several medals for Canada. Exciting. That is Global National for this Saturday night. I'm Neetu Garcha. Tonight's Your Canada showcases Upper Granville, Nova Scotia, Lake of Bays, Ontario, and the Salmon Glacier near Stewart, BC. Thanks for watching and hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Have a great night.